awesome pumpkin animatronic.
Baby, I'm on fire.
Here's the thing, do not come here and use American Express.
Baby, I'm about to creep up inside you.
Well, hello, and welcome to Ranting Robb's Reviews. So today, we're at beautiful Balboa Park. What I want to check out today is I want to check out the progress on the haunted trail at Balboa Park. It's scheduled to open up October 27th. I think it's a fantastic haunt. It's over a mile long and has an adjacent maze. So it's awesome. Don't know what the theme is this year, but we're going to check it out. Then we're going to go right on down to the Museum of Us and check out the Cannibal Museum. Oh yeah. So please join me and let us go venture out. I just love watching this. I just love watching this stuff get built. We got people over there now working on it. Man, I love horror movies, and nothing is better than a horror movie that jumps out at you in person. This is such a cool spot. This is actually the flight path, right, for the San Diego airport. Oh, don't want to blind you. Don't look at the sun. And but because this is actually the flight path. The airport is right over there. So if it gets loud, plane goes overhead, you'll know. That's why, you know, like there used to be this theater called Starlight, and Starlight was right next to the Air and Space Museum, and it was great because whenever planes would fly overhead, you would have the actors freeze, and you'd sit there and wait, and it was like part of the thing. It was like a spectacle. Like, okay, this is the place where the actors freeze, and then the plane flies over, and then they resume it as if they didn't even skip a beat. But anyway, that's another story for another time. We have giant animatronics going into the build here at the haunted trail in San Diego. I mean, how spooky is that going to be? I'm planning on bringing my niece and nephew to this year. How cool is that going to be when you're right up against this? What does this thing look like? It's like 30 feet tall, maybe. What about when it's all lit up and moving around with sound and lights and stuff? That's going to be spooky. You can see in the background there in the distance, there's another giant animatronic that's hovering over everything. This is great. This is going to be amazing. See, we have back there, we have the giant Pennywise in spider form. Looks like he's holding a Georgie with a severed arm screaming. This is great because that tells me there's going to be it theming in here. So one of my favorite franchises, of course, I love the Tim Curry version better, but you know, Bill Skarsgård performs an amazing, demanding performance that scares the living bejesus out of all of us. Oh, plane. Woo! See what else we can see. It's kind of hard because they put up this scrim so that you can't really see what's going on behind there, but you can see. I mean, it's kind of transparent. It's harder for the camera to see. Here we go. Here's another angle. Almost looks like a Beetlejuice-esque face. So they'll probably have a Beetlejuice themed section to the haunt. All right. What does that say? Hazel. There's a big gravestone over there. Some animatronics with a clown face and some looks almost like some farm people, you know. So maybe there'll be have a farm theme to this. And every single year I've come to this, I'm not disappointed. It's a mile long. You get a good workout. There's a lot of really good scares, and it runs competitively. I would say it's definitely competitive. Whoa! Squirrel! So every year I've come to this haunt, and it's never let me down. It runs competitively with themes like Halloween Horror Nights and Hallowscream, only it's independent. This is one of the best haunted houses, if not the best haunted, I guess, trail in San Diego. Oh, here's another plane. Wow. Hopefully that thing doesn't explode above us. That's the haunted trail. Too bad I can't sneak in. Too bad I can't get in there and film it. Big, giant, scary werewolf yeti demon thing. It's hard to tell from here. Dang. People just working. This is the giant demon yeti thing. Man, in all of its glory. The giant demon yeti thing. Let's see if we can walk from the backside. See what we can see. Looks like an awesome pumpkin animatronic right here. Big giant. I love the fact that they have big giant animatronics. There's a fear, and it's like megalophobia, and it's a fear of giant things. And when you have megalophobia and a fear of animatronics, man, there's nothing scarier than big, giant, terrifying animatronics. I remember going to I never went to the Starlight haunted house, but when I was a kid, the haunted house used to be in the Museum of Man, they used to call it. Now it's the Museum of Us. But it used to be in the Museum of Man. And I remember upstairs where they have all the Egyptian sarcophagus and the big thing that connects the two buildings that goes across the street. I remember walking through there and seeing squirrel! I lost the squirrel. Oh well. That's the ADD, folks. So I remember going to the haunted house in Balboa Park at the Museum of Man, not the Museum of Us, because this was back in the day. This is back when I was a kid in the 80s. And they had the haunted house in there. I'm not sure if it's owned by the same people that own the haunted trail now, but it definitely was terrifying for being a little kid. Definitely shaped the way I am today. But here we go. Ooh, here's the scary school bus. This is the school bus, the infamous school bus, where you walk through and it looks to me like they're full of Freddy Kruegers this year, just the way I like it. I can see the top hat, the red and green striped sweatshirt, and it looks to me like this is gonna be one badass year. Look at that, the giant animatronic on top, the giant animatronic on top, and then a school bus full of Freddy Kruegers, just the way this should be, because Nightmare on Elm Street 2 had the school bus scene in the very beginning and the end. That was kind of the wraparound story, and so it's only fitting that the yellow school bus is filled with Freddy Kruegers. I'm definitely going to this more than once this year just to see this. I would definitely have to say that Nightmare on Elm Street is my personal favorite movie franchise of all time. I mean, can you tell? Can you tell by the shirt that I'm wearing? Yeah. My favorite. In fact, I met Robert Englund once. My mother's friend from high school is Lynn Egan, who does hair and makeup. And I think she does like hair and makeup for Billy Bob Thornton personally now. But back in the day, she was working on Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And I don't know, I feel like I must have been like 8 or 9 years old, right? I mean, I checked the temperature, it feels about that age, right? We went to the set of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, and I met, my mom's friend, Lynn said, oh, you want to meet Robert Englund? You want to meet Freddie? And I said, yeah, of course I do. And when I met him, we went into his trailer, and he was wearing full-fledged makeup. It even had like a severed arm hanging off of his shoulder, right? It was really cool. I was kind of freaked out, because I'm a young kid, but I love Freddy Krueger, and here he is in the flesh. And I was like, hello, Freddy. And he goes, do you like to boogie board? And I'm like, yeah, actually I do. My dad's a surfer. I grew up at the beach, and he said, try it with one fin. You'll go faster. It's better. And I was like, no way. Freddy surfs? No way. But then, when I got older, I realized, he was in movies like Big Wednesday, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess he's a surfer. It makes sense. He lives in California. But then I got to tour the entire set. I got to look at the room full of knives and everything, but it was an awesome day. Afterwards, my mom took me to Universal Studios for the first time. And that blew me away. So this is one of my core memories, right? Like, my identity is built and centered around horror. Let's see, again, Nightmare on Elm Street 5, right? Not the greatest in the franchise, but well worth the watch. Me personally, I'm a Nightmare on Elm Street 1 guy, and then Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and then Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Nightmare on Elm Street 4, and then so on in that order, Damn, okay. Well, looks to me like they're just building. This whole area right here is still kind of barren. They're building it up. This area looks like it's looking pretty good. I'm not gonna walk the whole mile today, right? God, I'm gonna save that for the show. I'm gonna save that for the 27th. I come down here and go cruise around this bad boy. No, because we got a lot of walking to do. We're gonna go cruise over. We're gonna walk over to the Cannibal Museum, and we're gonna go check out all things cannibal. I think the museum wants to ask you, could you empathize with these cannibals? Come find out. So we're gonna head over to the Cannibal Museum. It's a part of the Museum of Us, and it has been around since 1915 at the 1915 Panama Canal World's Fair. Been a long time. Remember when I was a kid, they used to have, used to be the Museum of Us, right? Or no, it used to be the Museum of Man. And I remember when I was a kid, it used to be the Museum of Man. And they'd have, cavemen, different, Egyptian sarcophagi and whatnot. And I went back there after decades. I said, where have all the cavemen gone? And they said, oh no, we're not. We're more of not a physical anthropological museum, but a cultural anthropological museum, which sorely to my dismay, still enjoy the museum. However, hey, please bring back the cavemen, okay? You're killing me here. I got a crazy fear of heights. Crazy fear of heights. I don't know what it is either, man. Like, when I was a kid, I used to go to theme parks. I used to be an adrenaline junkie, is what they used to say. Jump out of trees, broke my arm or my wrist. Went to Magic Flags. I went to the Magic Flags. I went to the Magic Kingdom. I went to Disneyland, Six Flags, Knott's, all those places. Couldn't get enough. You know, the higher, the faster, the better. But some time after I got out of the Army in 2000 and, what was it? 2011? Yeah, I came here to Balboa Park and walked across the bridge, and right in the middle, I wanted to fall on the ground and like lie in the fetal position. I got crazy vertigo. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just like all that adrenaline chasing finally caught up with me and messed with the chemicals in my brain. But, you know, to me, it looked like it was a challenge to be met. And although I still get a little dizzy when I cross the bridge, it's nowhere near as bad as it was. So we're gonna cross the bridge right here. Museum of Us. That's where we're going. Now, you could actually take a tour of that tower as well. I think for another $20 or so. Don't quote me on that. But quote me on this. You are able to walk up to the top and check it out, which is really cool. So, we're gonna be looking at the 163 bridge right now. This is the infamous bridge right here that has given me so much trouble. I'm sure if you have a fear of heights, this thing is probably terrifying because you can just stand there and look over and watch traffic pass by. And I'm starting to feel it right now. Whoa! So this bridge is aptly named, the locals call it Suicide Bridge. Now, no laughing matter, no joking. I read on Reddit that a mortician said about 15 people jump off this bridge each year and commit suicide from it. So, not condoning that at all. If you have a suicidal ideation, call the suicide hotline, get some help. You know, don't jump, don't do it. However, that disclaimer being said, if you notice, there is a gate up here. Now, the reason they have the gate up here, when I was growing up, there was no gate, right? This fence that's on the bridge, it's new. And if you look down right here, oh boy, can't believe we're doing this. If you look down, there's a dirt path right there. It's all dirt. And then over there, there is cars, right? So they put up the fence right here so that the people that are jumping over, like trying to commit suicide, would not land in traffic. So, you know, they weren't really looking out when they built this for the people that want to end their life, right? Like there's plenty of space to do it right there. However, they don't want you to take innocent bystanders with you. Again, not advocating this at all. I think, you know, suicide is not the answer. If you need help, if you're in pain, definitely call the suicide hotline. Not sure what that is, but I will Google it and put it up on the screen. There you go. But other than that, through these trees right here, there's actually an archery range in there, which is kind of spooky when you think about it, because it's like a trail with archery targets, and you have to just, I guess, trust that the people there aren't drunk, and that they know what they're doing, and that kind of seems unregulated, but also really cool at the same time. Like, I would totally be down to do it, but I would have eyes in the back of my head. There's also, I think, a frisbee golf course out here off in the distance. I could be wrong though. That could be in another location. Here we are. Today we're going to the Museum of Us to go see the Cannibal exhibit. The exhibit's called Cannabis, Myth versus Reality, because essentially they want you to empathize with cannibals of the past, to understand their plight and their story, and to not look at it as some urban legend. Because if you look at you know, our modern culture, if you look at media, you know, cannibals make a great story. Just look at Cannibal Holocaust. That came out in 1980. Yeah. Hannibal Lecter, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know, the media depicts, you know, cannibals in a gory, fascinating, and interesting light. But perhaps this exhibit will give us a different perspective on that. The Museum of Us. So it goes around, there's the cannibal exhibit right there. So it connects this building right here, although I don't think we have access anymore, but up there on the second floor is where they have the sarcophagus exhibits, the Egyptian exhibits in the Museum of Us. So let's head on over and, you know, use, do a little tinkle and then jump inside the Cannibal Museum. Right. All right, one for the Museum of Us.
Pass expired.
Oh, pass expired. Oh. All right, time to renew the pass. All right, so my Balboa Park card, my Balboa Park Explorers card actually expired yesterday. So I got to go down to the visitor center right now and spend $99 to go get another one so I can get it printed out right now. I don't want to deal with having it sent to my house. I don't want to deal with that, you know? It's just one of those things, like I'd rather have it now. I'd rather just not deal with the hassle. I'll go sit there. Hopefully they can print it out right now. And hopefully I get my student discount. Because it's Explorer's Pass gets you into every single museum here, but it's $129. Not a bad price, because if you look at the prices of the museum, it's like 19 bucks. So if you were to just go to like 6.5 museums, it would pay for its whole thing. You know, it's and I mean, you could come to Balboa Park and go to 6.5. Well, I guess not half, but you can go to 7 museums in one day, and the card would pay for itself. I don't know how many museums are here in Balboa Park, but I know there's a ton. Absolutely, there's a ton of museums here. It will not get you into the Comic-Con Museum, unfortunately. I've tried, believe me. That's one I haven't done yet. But that being said, on our way to the visiting center to get our Balboa Park Explorers Pass. And before we do that, I want to show you Tron, the exhibit. That's absolutely not Tron. If you've been to Disney World, you know what I'm talking about. Behind it is the Museum of Art. Lovely museum that has European and you know, American art and whatnot. Pretty awesome. Not really an art guy, so I can't tell you much more than that. And then right next door, for free, they have the Timken Art Museum. Little known fact, the Timken Art Museum actually has a Rembrandt in it, an actual Rembrandt. One of my favorite, Saint Bartholomew, a guy who was skinned alive. The painting is not gory. It's not a depiction of him being skinned alive, but it is a depiction of him kind of like holding like a filleting knife in subtext. But hey, if you're an art person, if you like Rembrandt, I suggest you go. Oh. To the visitor center. So after a lot of huffing and puffing, I finally got my temporary Explorer's Pass. Here's the thing, do not come here and use American Express. They will not give you Delta miles. They do not accept it when you're purchasing your card. So it's crazy, it's crazy. I went in there, I said, I just want to pick up my card in the visitor center. I did it last year. I picked up my card last year, you know, And they said, that's just something we don't do. And so they said, well, you know what? We'll call upstairs. And so they called upstairs. And I said, wow, this is, they're bringing it to the top. This must be pretty important. And the people on the phone said, oh no, you can use the kiosk. Again with the kiosk. The whole world is turning into kiosks. But that's okay. You know, I just don't want to get it lost in the mail, and I don't want to wait a week. I want to have my physical card now. And if that's crazy, well then I am a loony. But I got this receipt. It's supposed to last for a week. And you know, I know my household. I know that this receipt is not going to last me a week unless I laminate it or do something crazy. You know, because as the saying goes, shit happens. But not to this receipt. Not to this receipt. So we're going back over to the Museum of Us. You know, in my mind, my brain just says, wants to say, man. It's the Museum of Man. But guess what? It no longer is. There's a lot of things in San Diego. The sports arena, I don't even know what they call it now. I don't know. They've changed the name like every month. There's always some new person owning or advertising it or whatnot. Always going to be the sports arena. But that's another topic for another time. Cannibals. Ooh. All the delicious parts of a human being. The brain, the face, the neck, the ribs. Chuck? Ribs. That's what Chuck is. You know? I always wondered what Chuck was. Huh. Enter and come with me into the cannibal exhibit. Hello. One, please.
Yep.
Yeah?
Oh, is that an Explorer Pass?
It is an Explorer Pass. Yeah, I know. I have to question it too. I don't know if it's going to last a week. But
I got a scan.
Do you? Okay.
Let me just print your ticket. 1 second.
Yeah.
All right. So with this, you get free re-entry until 5 p.m. Also good for the main building across the street.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Oh, and an afternoon too. Have a good afternoon as well. I got glasses on, so it feels like night. Ooh. Let the haunting begin. Oh, Hannibal. Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street. And apparently, there's cannibals in Sin City. I think, didn't the guy that Elijah Wood play, didn't he like chop women up and eat them? Who knows? The Road, that's what happens at the end of the world when there's no laws and lawlessness runs rampant. You eat what you can. Ooh, the hills have eyes. Michael Berryman has eyes as well. Oh, I loved your Weird Science. Walking Dead. Ooh, Ravenous. Yes. This is an old school gem. If you've never seen Ravenous and you're a horror fan, this movie is creepy and it's got a lot of twists. It's one of those movies where, you know, things happen. Don't want to ruin it, no spoilers. You know, things happen that you don't expect, but in the most delectable way. Ah, that's an awesome Leatherface action figure. Oh, now we're going into real life. Cannibal the Musical, one of Troma's finest, I think. It's a Matt Stone and Trey Parker film before they did South Park. If you're a South Park fan, check this one out. Cannibal Corpse, yes. You know, shout out to George Corpse Grinder Fisher, but also Chris Barnes. Fine Young Cannibals.
Yeah, that came in my dream. That was the movie that came in my dream.
You got Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice. Jeez, I've never seen Fried Green Tomatoes, but now that I know it's about cannibals, I gotta check it out. Deliverance. I don't know. I thought that one was about sodomy. So here we go. The history of cannibalism. So, this exhibit is more geared towards myth versus reality. As you know, we have a society that loves horror movies and stories. We love a good villain, and what better villain than a cannibal? But the objective of this exhibit is to humanize cannibals, to get rid of the ick factor, and to kind of place you into a place where you ask the question, would I do the same thing in that predicament? Nice crossbow. Very cool. See, if you were stuck in this situation and you had to eat another human being, would you make the same choice? It's kind of crazy. I probably would. I like food. I get hangry when I don't have it. Oh, yikes. These guys are hungry. A bark belt, southern Papua New Guinea. So what's a bark belt? Is this made out of human skin? A drum, woven fiber belt. Oh, these are the remains of people that, as a part of our decolonization process, these items have been moved to a sanctuary space. This case once displayed human remains. Oh, that's pretty wild. I kind of wish I was here for that. Ancestral figure, Sepik River area, northeast Papua New Guinea. I'm seeing Papua New Guinea a lot. Seems like there's a lot of history with cannibalism there. Putting cannibals on display at home. Labeling people as cannibals contributed to their humiliating, invasive, and dehumanizing treatment. Starting in the mid-1800s, Western cultures took turns organizing exposition and world's fairs to display their wealth and influence. These events also became sites of exploitation and humiliation for hundreds of people forcibly taken from their homes. In the name of science, people were considered exotic or subhuman, were put on display in exhibits. Famous United States World's Fairs, like the World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago in 1893 and 1904 St. Louis World's Fair, officially called the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, included prominent displays of people considered cannibals. So it seems like people of affluence marginalized and exploited people from other countries who were deemed cannibals for our entertainment. Interesting how our culture still has movies about cannibals for our entertainment, but they're not quite exploiting real life people. Unless Hannibal the Cannibal is a real life person. Ooh, boomerangs from Queensland, Australia. These were Aborigine weapons. I threw a boomerang once and it never came back. Just kept on going. Are you part cannibal? It's a good question. I often chew my own lip. But who knows if any of us are descendants of cannibals. This is a room where corpses were used for medication in the past. You go into the doctor for a headache and they say, hey, here's a little femur bone for you. Sniff that. It's the lounge where the unthinkable happens. Colonial cannibalism in Jamestown's starving game. Scratch match. Simple magnification is one of the most useful tools for forensic anthropologists. lift the panels to find out what we think made these marks on June's skeleton. Well, I guess I'd like to ask, who is June? And why do we have her skeleton? Starvation and fatigue. Feel the effects of starvation on your body by lifting these buckets of water. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm good. I felt fatigue before. I've been in the army, and I'm quite hungry right now. Ooh, if you were shipwrecked, who would you choose to eat? The big one. I choose the big one. It's kind of creepy, but I remember at one time, this room had sound effects and it made it even creepier. See, this is supposed to be a depiction of like a life raft. You're just floating on a life raft and you draw straws to see if you're the one that's going to be doing the killing or the one that's going to be doing the eating. Do I want to pull the straws? Oh no, not today, not today. Message in a bottle. What would you do if you were faced with the same choices as shipwrecked sailors, starving colonists or stranded travelers? Well, I'd hope I have cell phone reception today. But this was the cell phone of old. Just a glass bottle and a message that says, "Help! My shipmates are eating me. Help! 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 They're eating my flank." Ooh, here's a cannibal version of Oregon Trail. For those of you who are under 35, this was a game. There was 2 games that you would play in school. Like we had like IBM computers, when computers were just a thing. And there were 2 games. There was Math Eaters and Oregon Trail. And apparently it's back. Just hope I don't die of dysentery this time. Add your local newspapers. Promises a shorter route to California. You're inspired to leave your home in Illinois and find fortune in the West. Press enter. I think I'm hitting enter. I don't see an enter. Is that crazy? Am I losing my mind? Press 1 to depart with the Donner Party. Ooh, I know the Donner Party. I'm not going to go with them. I know what happens. Press 2 to depart with the Reed Party. Press 3 to learn more about these 2 families. You know what? Let's go with the Donner Party. I know what happens, but let's do it anyway. You've decided to travel with the Donner Party. Press enter to start your journey. Bam. Press enter to begin. Let us go on our journey. Let us venture forth. Oh, dang. 2 seconds in, I've crashed my wagon. You get exhaustion making the repairs in your wagon. You made it all the way to Little Sandy, Wyoming. An explorer traveling in the opposite direction warned you that wagons will never make it through the shortcut. He's the harbinger, apparently. The one that says, "You won't survive. You'll never come back alive." He urges you to take the established route. However, another traveler assures you that the new route is totally safe and much quicker. Well, I've never been the one to throw caution to the wind, so let us press forward through the shortcut. Press enter to begin. Okay, we're moving. They're actually making us maneuver through things here. Maneuvering through trees. You've reached the Humboldt River, but it was a hard trip through the desert. Water ran out after 3 days and most of your livestock ran away. You were forced to abandon one of your wagons and all of its supplies after it got stuck in the sand. Oh well. Taking the shortcut delayed you by 3 weeks. Plus, it was actually 120 miles longer. Things are looking grim, so you decide to send people ahead to get help in California and bring back food. I don't know, Johnny. I don't know if that's gonna work out. Press 1 to go ahead to California to get help. You're brave enough to strike out on your own in the wilderness. Press 2 to stay with the group. After all, someone needs to help Mrs. Donner care for all those daughters. Whoa, that's tempting. But I'm gonna go press ahead. Sally forth, let us go on an adventure. Mrs. Donner begs you to stay with the group. Strong people are needed to help carry supplies for the children. You must stay with the group. Oh, well then, why did you ask me? Press enter to begin. Okay, let's go. Apparently it's snowing. Cruising through the Donner Trail with my covered wagon and my oxen. You've made it to the base of the Sierra Nevadas. You're almost there, but you need to hurry. It's snowing and you barely have any food left. You've had to abandon all but one of your wagons, and everyone that you can must walk. Let us walk. Press enter to begin. If I'm walking, am I walking? Am I an ox? Uh-oh. Your attempt to cross the mountain pass failed. You were caught in a terrible winter storm. George Donner is seriously injured and he's unable to take care of his family. It's up to you, and only you now, to make sure everyone survives the blizzard. Press 1 to help build a shelter to protect everyone from the elements, or press 2 to repair a broken wagon so that you can travel when the weather breaks. Press 1. Let's build a shelter. I wish there was an option to build a snowman. After several weeks stranded in the snow, you're starving and exhausted. Many members of your party have died. You have to keep the children alive. It's time to consider the unthinkable. Eat the dead so we can survive. Press 1 to eat the bodies of your deceased companions. Absolutely. You can't keep me from pressing 1 right now. You made a very difficult decision, but you've managed to survive and keep some of the children alive. A rescue mission arrives, but they cannot take both you and the starving children back to safety in California. Press 1 to send the children safely. You can continue to scrap through by consuming the bodies of those who have died. I will consume. In the spirit of the exhibit, I will consume the bodies. A second rescue mission arrives. Because of your efforts and difficult decision-making, the remaining members of your traveling party have survived. After a long and difficult journey, you finally make it to California and are able to begin a new life. Wow. The nightmares that you would have. Unbelievable. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Donner Trail. Especially in cases of survival, cannibalism. The head, hands, and feet were often removed before the body was butchered and distributed as food. Here's that fun old game Operation. All right, let's try to get the flank. I don't want to get the flank. Get the flank. And here we are at the end of the exhibit. Where do you draw the line? I know I've donated blood. I've chewed on my lip. Am I a cannibal? All right, and there we go, the scariest cannibal of them all. Well, that was pretty heavy. Pretty awesome exhibit. Let's see what lurks outside. You know, I feel like I went through an experience in there. I feel like I've changed. You know, I went in thinking images of pop culture, like Hannibal the Cannibal, and the Sawyer family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I left empathizing with cannibals of the past. And I now know that maybe I'm a cannibal because I've chewed my lip, you know. I've, donated blood. So how far does it go? Anyway, onward. Let us venture forth. I could spend all day at Balboa Park. In fact, many times I do. This is a place that I come to be seeped and enriched in culture and history and think about greater things, you know? I went to college, but you know that, You know, one thing about Balboa Park I like is that it kind of has that whole World's Fair vibe still to this day. It's like a permanent World's Fair because it was a World's Fair. It was built and erected here in 1915 as the world's Panama Canal's World's Fair. I think it was here from 1915 to 1917. And somewhere in the middle, in 1916, they built the San Diego Zoo next door. So, but I like coming here because, you know, it helps me, you know, calm down. I get to see, you know, a little bit of culture. I get to feel like I learned something, and it's fun to just come and hang out with, like, not only my fellow San Diegans, but all the travelers that come from around the world to come to this special place. One thing I'm looking for tremendously is they call it December Nights, right? It used to be called Christmas on the Prado, but now they call it December Nights. And what it is all about Balboa Park. All the museums are free, and they have food stands, international, from all around the world. And it used to be more reserved to the international houses, you know, because that's honestly the best part. The international houses serves food like Sweden would serve Swedish meatballs, China serves dumplings and whatnot, and you know, France. Hey, if you're listening, you know what happened to that killer French onion soup? I've been looking for that for 2 years, and it's been AWOL. So maybe if you're listening, you can help out with that. But last year, I think it was either Ireland or Scotland, and I went there and just ate a tremendous stew. Fantastic. I've never had a better stew in all my life, so I'll be coming back for that this year. But yeah, they turned it into a carnival. I think I saw rides. Here's beer gardens, but you know, it's worth a shot. You got to check it out. I think it's the first weekend in December. Come early because parking is atrocious. However, we're still in haunt season, so what am I talking about Christmas stuff for? Dang, you know what? I just made it all the way across the bridge, and I didn't even think about it. How crazy is that? Huh, guess that exposure therapy is working. So anyway, I think I'm gonna call it. Walking back to the car, gotta go edit this and get ready for the haunts, because Thursday is gonna be HHN Haunted Horror Nights at Universal Studios, and I'm gonna go get the shit scared out of me. It's gonna be a great trip. So, as I said, enjoy the rest of your evening, and embrace the hauntedness of the season. Go out and have some fun.